Hey guys, this is Steven with Mod in Japan, and this is MIJ Tech, where we talk about performance products for your performance vehicle. Today we are highlighting a new brand we are importing from Japan, and that's HALsprings. This isn't just another spring company. They have a very unique approach to spring development, but more on that later. First, let's get into HALsprings' history. Developed by Aki Hatano-san, HALsprings is a designer and manufacturer of high-performance automotive and motorcycle springs. Located in the Saitama Prefecture, they have been massively growing in all directions due to their unique approach in spring development. From developing all the springs in vehicles showcased in the Toyota booth for the Tokyo Auto Salon, to collaborating with Super Taikyu driver Masahiro Sasaki of Rookie Racing on his own lowering springs for Grow Design, to even running their own racing development program in a 2-liter A90 Supra in the NLS Endurance Series at the Nürburgring. Hatano-san is not just the founder. He also has his roots in rally racing in his earlier years, so he's both a driver and a designer. Which leads me to how they came up with their approach to spring design. In front of me are 3 springs. What if I told you they are all 16 kg spring rate, all same ID or inner diameter, and OD or outer diameter, but completely different? If you know coilover springs, you're probably thinking, Steven, what the hell are you talking about? They are all different because they produce all their springs in 4 different formats. You have low rebound speed, medium rebound speed, high rebound speed, and racing speed. So before you start asking engineering questions, even I fully don't understand how they accomplish this, but only from a basic level as they explained it to me as best as they could. To begin, let's explain what a spring rate means and what does 16 kg mean. Our most common sold coilover set is the CKS True Coilover Kit for the Lexus RCF and GSF, which comes standard with 16 kg in the front and 10 kg in the rear. So in the rest of the world, other than good old America, they use the metric system and measure springs in kilogram force per millimeter. And the good old US of A, we use pound force per inch. This talks about the amount of force required to compress a spring. So in our example, a 16 kg spring requires 16 kilograms of force to compress the spring 1 millimeter. And converted to pound force per inch, that's roughly 895.95 pounds of force to compress that same spring 1 inch. In coilovers from Japan, they generally use linear springs, which means the amount of force to compress the spring is relatively linear. So it's equal the more you squish the spring. In brands like KW and some OEM replacement springs, they have what's called a progressive spring, which means if you compress the spring, it gets progressively stiffer until it reaches the kilogram per force millimeter stated. So here's where you lose me and why HALspring is so interesting. If they're all 16 kg, which means it takes the same 16 kilograms of force to compress the spring 1 millimeter, how could they possibly be different? From the surface, they all appear the same, but they all have small differences. First, let's talk about the shapes. Low rebound speed, you can't really tell, but this spring isn't perfectly straight. It has a slight barrel shape to it and it's bulging in the middle. Medium rebound speed, high rebound speed, and racing are all perfectly straight. Second, let's talk about the coil count. If you notice, they're all different, slightly different. Third, if you look at the thickness of the spring, they also vary ever so slightly. So, by combining all these attributes, they have designed springs that have different characteristics. I don't know how to explain how all the physical differences affects this next part, but the basic principle they explained to me was more around the coil count. As you drive your car and it hits a bump, the car bounces up and down on the spring. When you hit a road bump, the energy absorbed by the road travels along the spring, following the winding path of the coil. The longer the coil's path, the longer the energy needs to travel to reach its final destination, which is the chassis of your car. Now, even though they are all the same spring rate, which means the force you hit the spring rate is all the same, when the spring decompresses, the energy needs to travel from your chassis back down into the road. So in principle, if you have more coils, that energy will take longer to reach its destination compared to a spring with a lower coil count. Now, add the thickness of the spring itself, its shape, and all sorts of other variables like material and manufacturing process, and you get the complexity that is HALspring. To really illustrate the differences, I have giant springs they sent me. Both of these are the same 8 kg spring rate with the same ID and OD. This one, with the massive amount of coils and weighs a ton, is the low speed design. And the one with the sparse amount of coils is the high speed. Now, it's the same 8 kilograms of force to compress the spring 1 millimeter, but it's more obvious that the track that the energy travels with the low speed design takes far longer than the high speed one, which equates to the difference in rebound speed. Also notice that the thickness of the springs are also different, which means the distance the energy travels and the space the energy has to travel is different, which creates different spring characteristics in the rebound speed. This is just an example of how the smaller springs work, but in a more dramatic and obvious example due to their size. Now, you might be thinking if low rebound speed is slower to push the energy back, it must be for the street, and the fastest spring is best for road racing. Partially, yes. For those that use their coilovers for the street and track, low rebound speed would be the perfect option. But it doesn't mean it's not track oriented. If you're on a road course that has a ton of bumps, like F1 Singapore, having a super high speed spring won't do you very well because the rebound speed is so high, your tire will be off the ground all the time and not absorbing those hits very well, leading to tire skip. So speed doesn't tell you which to use. It all depends on the tracks you're planning to hit. Another example of where low speed spring shines is rally driving and off-road, since the environment is always bumpy and changing. The Mod Japan team had a chance to visit his factory in Japan, so let's let him explain a little bit about the pedigree of HALspring.
こんにちは。ハルスプリングの畑野です。私たちは日本国内で様々なレースシーン、スポーツ、モータースポーツで使っていただけるように、いろんな形で応援したり、テストを繰り広げてまいりました。その中で昨年よりドイツニュルブルクリンクでテストする場を設け、私自身も走行し、いろんな走行データを取っています。このハルスプリングというブランド、バネのスピードを見るということを発信しようと思ったのは、私自身がモータースポーツを通じていろんなシーンでいろんなメーカーのバネを試してきました。その中で僕はラリーという競技出身なのですが、ラリーにおいては同じバネレートでも走破性というものが求められます。この走破性を求めるときにはやはりバネがゆっくりスピードとして伸びてくる、縮んでいく。これはレートではなくてバネ自身の持つスピードをコントロールしたいというふうに考えました。それを商品にしたのがハルスプリングです。
In fact, their 2-liter A90 Supra that does endurance racing is using low-speed springs on their race car in the Nürburgring. HALsprings is also super famous for their low-speed spring. So higher speed doesn't mean better results. It just depends on what kind of track conditions you're racing in and what kind of disciplined racing you are doing. So now you're looking to replace your springs on your coilovers for more performance and/or comfort. Which do you choose? To be honest, I'm not sure. Depends on your application. If you're a street and track dual purpose kind of person, low speed would be perfect for you. You get comfort and performance all in one since you get the same performance by maintaining the correct spring rate, but you get less jarring return during decompression. In the US, most of the spring brands we have here, the products available would be considered medium rebound speed. So that might be the speed for you. If you have a super well-maintained high-speed course, then high speed might be for you. For context, most of the OEM replacement springs where you swap your OEM springs for a different brand but use your OEM damper are somewhere between low rebound speed and medium rebound speed. And with the softer springs out there, those are similar to low rebound speed. Lastly, racing springs are very specific, so that's probably something you want to reach out and get a custom spring produced for your application. To understand this further, we'll be getting some help from a friend of mine so we can do some real-world testing of the springs to understand how they translate for a driver and steering feedback on a road course. So be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that future video. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you guys have ideas for other ones you'd like to see, please let me know in the comments below. And if you want to support us to make more videos like this, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so we can continue to do these. If you have any questions about products or like a quote on anything, please feel free to email us at sales@modinjapan.com or just go shopping at modinjapan.com. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.